Hello guys, once again it's Matt and today we have another video. Thank you all the members, all the patrons, make sure to subscribe and let's get into it guys. So today we have kind of the final what is the best F-16 video that I wanted to do, right? A video talking about the two variants that a lot of people consider the two best F-16s. We're talking about the Block 20 MLU, as you see on the screen right now, and later in another gameplay, the AJ, the F-16AJ for the Japanese Tech 3. They're both considered the best F-16s, but let's really put them against each other on a sense of just looking at matches and how they perform on the meta, not in a dogfight or anything like that, because you will understand my point. And it's just a way to actually know, and maybe a way for you to actually understand if it is a good aircraft to grind or not, depending on what variant you want. So the first point is comparing them to each other. So dogfights, BVR, air-to-ground, flight performance, and sensors, radars, and stuff like that will be the features of it, with a tie kind of situation if we get a tie as the future of these aircraft. So let's just hop right into it. So on the dogfight capabilities, this is a kind of an obvious one. The AJ takes this point, right? The F-16AJ is an aircraft that is lighter. It is based off of the Block 10, which is a lighter aircraft. It doesn't have many of the internal systems that the ADFs, the Block 15's, and the Block 20 have, right? So it is the lightest one, and it basically has all its advantages on that. The difference in the tail section, even though the Block 15's, Block 20's, they do have a bigger, more well-designed tail section, it still goes for the Block 10 just for the sake of the weight of it. So in a dogfight, the AJ takes this crown. It has a much better rate fight, but you have to be honest, I mean, it's not a very big difference. You can feel it in a 1v1, and you will most definitely win in the Block 10 on the AJ, but still, it is, you know, not that feelable in a normal meta, but still it's there. The second one is BVR. What I mean about BVR is not only BVR itself, but I think the missiles in general, right? The radar missiles, everything like that. And I think right here, they are very, very similar to each other. Like, very, very similar to each other. The only main difference between, the two main differences between each other is that the radar of the MLU is a little bit better, but that doesn't change the BVR fight, the radar missile fight in general, right? The only thing that really matters is that one uses the AIM-7F and one uses the AIM-7M. And while right now they're both the same, we can kind of see that, you know, they're basically the same aircraft, you know, in that regard. So, yeah, nothing else to talk about. In the air-to-ground role, we also have this problem. Both of them basically carry the same type of loadout. They have the same type of systems, you know. They still use the non-guided, you know, bombs and stuff, Snake Eyes and Mark 82s, but also at the same time, the Mavericks and the same level of the Maverick as well. So, nothing really worth talking about it there as well. They're very, very similar to each other. So right now, the AJ takes the crown on the sheer meta of the game, right? Due to dogfighting capabilities and obviously with the flight performance. So let's talk about the flight performance itself, right? The AJ, as I said, it is a little bit better. It's not by much, but it is. So there is that. And the last thing, the radar, you know? So the radar is kind of way better on the MLU. It has TWS, it has more range. Everything on that radar is better than on the AJ. Does it change too much of the meta of the aircraft? No, it doesn't. But it really does help in certain situations to have a little bit of more situational awareness with the better radar of the MLU. Especially the TWS helps a lot, and the extra range makes you so that you can actually choose the better options for a target to actually shoot with missiles and stuff. So in general, man, as you see, the dogfight capabilities and flight performance, the AJ is better. On the radar side of things, the MLU is better. So 2-to-1. And on the BVR side and air-to-ground, in general, they're both very, very similar because they use the same missiles, they use the same weapons, and you cannot see a very good, like, big difference between each other. So at the end of the day, the AJ, in my opinion, is a better aircraft in a general sense, you know, but only because of its performance. And it comes down to the thing. It comes down to what is your, like, personal preference. Even though the AJ technically would be a general better aircraft, there are people that will prefer the MLU. And I am included in that because I love to have a TWS in a radar. And the minimal differences between them in a dogfight that you will barely feel it in a normal meta, in a normal gameplay, makes it so that the MLU is, for me, a better option. And that's where I think you have to have your conclusion. What do you like the most? Do you like to dogfight more? Do you like to have the lighter aircraft? Or do you like to have more situational awareness with the better radar? That's really the option that we see here. And to be honest, I think most players will enjoy having more performance on the aircraft than anything else. This is just, I think it's a very easy thing to choose for most players. So it's something to consider when you are choosing one of the nations to actually research. But even though the AJ for the majority of the people will be a better option, I think we still have to talk about the kind of situation that I was talking about, the future. So the future of these aircraft will be very different, and there is why I think if you are going to consider right now for research, if you are close to them, you know, or something like that, if you're going to pick one of them to be yours, you have to consider as well. It's a minor thing, but it is important. The first thing is that the AJ is what it is. There's nothing else that can be added to the AJ, to be honest. Maybe an AM3 or something like that, but anything else probably not going to be added. Fox 3's probably not going to be added. Better to ground weaponry probably not going to be added. Something that the MLU might have. So the MLU actually used a thermal pod in real life, if I'm not mistaken, it was thermal. And with that, we can kind of consider that in the air to ground, it would be way better because thermals together with a very good Maverick can be a very, very deadly weapon, right? Also, the second thing is that with TWS, and for sure the MLU will get the Fox 3 missiles like the 20's when it's added to the game, makes it that the MLU will be way better and it will probably need a new BR. It probably will. It probably will go together with the other aircraft that will be in that kind of area of maybe a 12.3 or something like that. So that's just a little thing that you have to consider, that even though yes, the AJ is better right now for the majority of the players, the ability of the MLU for the future to receive a pod for thermal guidance with the Mavericks, and together with its radar and Fox 3 missiles when they are added, will make it for a very, very competitive F-16 and way better than the AJ will ever be, you know? So it's just a minor thing to consider, but the AJ is indeed the best option for the majority of the player. You have to choose, as I said, remember always this, you will have the radar with slightly worse performance, or you will have a better performance with a worse radar. That's pretty much the choice between the AJ and the Block 20 MLU. And they are both very, very good F-16s, and I think overall they are better than the EDFs, the nets, and the normal Block 10s that we see in other nations, right? Just because they basically cover every single aspect, or they try to. You know, the MLU has air-to-ground, BVR, and also the best radar of the F-16. The AJ has the best performance with the Block 10, but it has BVR and air-to-ground as well. So they're both the more complete versions, and it makes you wonder that, again, the US kind of follows the same rule as every time an aircraft is added, that the US gets at least like a not that good version compared to other nations. It's minor differences, but it is indeed funny that there is a difference there. But anyway, let me know in the comments, what would you choose? Would you choose the F-16AJ or the MLU 20 for your lineup? So let me know in the comments, and I see you guys on the next one. Make sure to subscribe, help me get to 50,000 subscribers until the end of the year, and I see you guys on the next one. Bye guys, see you.